Yeah, so I think I can give a few of those. There's one that's I consider a table stakes, really easy thing, I think, that just about anybody can do. Everyone on this podcast may have already heard this before. Don't keep your phone in your room when you go to bed. Keep it away so that it cannot be the first thing you look at in the morning. It cannot be the thing you look at before you go to bed. So it's a form of keeping boundaries between where the internet is. And there are definitely some places that need to be internet-free zones. Another one is goal setting. I think this is a really important thing, and a thing that I've learned from, my MMO phase in high school is it's really fun to level up. And to, have these gamified increases in things to get, new items and, this like constant stream of novelty and upgrade from doing this, stupid just ultimately meaningless stuff that, yields tangible dopamine hits in the forms of, some gamified, measurable growth, in your character. You can do this in your real life. You can level up, and you can level up based on, how articulate you are with the, and how you measure the things that can increase, right? So, I got into lifting during COVID. My housemate had he bought a power rack. He had been a big weightlifter in high school while I was busy playing MMOs. And so he knew how to get pretty jacked. He already was pretty strong. I was not. And I'd always resisted, learning because, it's very uncomfortable to go into the gym as a weak kid that doesn't know, what to do. And I, looking back on it, I really wish I had figured that out in high school, because it, I would have gotten strong a lot sooner had I overcome that early on in life, because it only gets harder the older you get, to overcome that idea that, you're in your late 20s and you've, never learned how to bench press properly. So he taught me, and, the big thing he stressed is that you have to write down everything you do, because then you can see measurable improvement. If I did 5 sets, 5 reps at this weight, I can add 5 pounds the next time. And I can then look back at that. Each time I walk in, I can look back at my progress and I can see, oh, I'm actually getting stronger, which is a huge motivator, right? When you can see improvement over time, you can level up. You can start setting goals. Okay, I've never been able to lift 135 on the bench. That's my goal. I got to break that. And then once I break it, I can set another one. Okay, 155. Okay, 185. Okay, 225, 2 plates. Right. You start to unlock the ability to do that. And you can do that in all kinds of areas. Right. I don't have to go into detail about too many of them, but, when you start thinking in terms of measurable outcomes in the same way that games have so clearly tapped into this, as we give you heads up displays all over that you can't miss about what your progress is and your experience on your way to the next level, they tap into the dopamine mechanism, right? And they have this advantage of being able to program it so they can make things that are actually very difficult very easy, so that you get a constant stream of these hits. And it's, very satisfying to go and trick your brain into thinking that you're making progress. Well, you have to do that in the real world. You got to figure out what your levels actually are, so that you can, gain the satisfaction of improvement in your life. Yeah.
So it's basically taking, I think it makes a ton of sense. And that's, it's actually chapter 3 of our fellowship program. The big reveal is video games are actually just an imitation of real life.
Yeah, totally.
So if you, I love that idea. Is like, okay, if you can take all these mechanisms that these third parties have figured out to worst case manipulate you, but at the very least kind of pull you into a particular direction. Why not just use that same technology to accelerate progress towards your own goals?
Exactly. Towards real goals, things in the real world that you actually care about. Reality goals.
Yes. Yeah.
You find this, like this concept is, it's been around since before the games for sure. It's just goals, setting goals. The modern incarnation of that in business is OKRs.
Right.
Objectives and key results. You set your objective and then you have measurable results that tell you whether or not you are, hitting those objectives. You have to do that for your business. It gamifies it. It gives you a number to strive for. The thing that, the Andy Grove, which is not Andy Grove, it's based on John Doerr. The thing that, Measure What Matters is based on is like, you have to have measurable key results. They have to be quantified. And that's very important. Jordan Peterson, who's a big inspiration of mine, he talks about this all the time and about how, you have to, not only do you have to set goals, but you have to set realistic ones. You have to start with small ones, things that you can actually stand a chance at hitting. You don't start with, you have some like terribly messy room that is just completely impossible to clean and daunting. You don't set the goal, I'm going to clean it today. You set the goal, I'm going to put away my dirty laundry. And then the next day my goal today is to do that and, put my books on the shelf. And so you gradually increase the scale of your goals so that you can actually achieve them, so you can actually level up. Otherwise, it's too daunting. And this is why the games are so good, is that they have figured out the perfect gradient, right, of increasing complexity so that you can always be hitting things and you can never give up, right? Because their enemy is you give up and you walk away because it isn't fun, because you can't progress. So you have to make your life like that. You have to make it something where you can actually see progress, which means realistic goals.